What's up, folks? You know, life treats you different whenever you're overweight. Usually, I've struggled with my weight throughout my whole life, and there was a period of time that I was trying to really focus on losing it, such as in the eighth grade, I joined football. And now, mind you, I'm 30 years old now. I graduated in 2015, so I'm an unk now. Oh, good God. But I got into football to be able to hopefully be able to shed some of this weight off. But it didn't really. I lost a little bit, but I think it was more water weight because it just by the time I got out, like a month later, it's just most of it was back on. And I only did the football was because I was trying to get a girlfriend because I've never had one. I don't know if any of y'all can relate, but I've very had few friends. I'm pretty socially isolated at this point, so it's kind of hard to be able to go out and try to conversate. Or I mean, I can talk to somebody, but I just can't really hold on to conversation because I don't really have nothing to talk about. And I've never had a girlfriend, so I wouldn't even know what that experience feels like. But I mean, I'm still here. But like I try to lose weight throughout majority of the middle school from eighth was it seventh or eighth, and then I got in high school. I was still in football. Now that I'm a shorter guy. I'm like 5'6". I probably weigh at that time. I was probably like 225, 230, and like I was a short, stocky, big kind of guy. But people would always just be looking at you different, always side eyeing you, or just not really inviting you over to anything. Because even during like lunchtime, I would just eat alone, and it's like, I mean, I don't really mind it, but it wouldn't help to have somebody to talk to pass the time. But in the high school, that's whenever around, I believe, 11th grade. Yes, 11th grade. I went to the doctor because it's like I can't be because I worked with my stepdad during summertime doing landscaping. He does like landscaping and tree services. So I was doing a lot of physical, heavy activity, and like I still wasn't hardly losing any weight. Now, mind you, I'm not eating a whole bunch of like just fast food. I'd eat like a thing, like a sandwich of like veggie burgers, and I typically was like in the whole grain waffles with Nutella, and that was mostly what I was eating. That was like what my diet consisted of. Not very healthy, but I was still younger and I was still trying to learn at that point. But I went to the doctor, get checked out, got blood work done, and my thyroid. I think the I was hyper no hypothyroidism. So they put me on medication because back in the day, like I had to get it checked up for like I guess there was like a cyst or something. I remember they had to do like what do they call them? This kind of like how they do like pregnancy things, right? They put that like that gel on you and then rub that like ball type of thing across it. But I guess I had a cyst, and then I took some medication for that, and it eventually went away. But it's like I've always had issues with like my mood and my weight, and so I went there, got the blood work done, and I started taking this medication called I think Synthroid, and that stuff. Like not too long after, I just started noticing like I had more energy. The weight was coming off at a healthier uh, frequency. At this time, I also was going into the gym, typically by myself, and I would run on the elliptical and lift weights. I would do like weight training type of stuff. Not nothing over. I'm not trying to be like a power lifter, but just enough to be able to lose some weight and put on a little bit of muscle. But whenever I came back from summer break, that's whenever I started noticing people like treating me different. Like people was actually acknowledging that I was there. People started talking to me. Like, they were telling me like, "Oh, you look good." And I even started like, getting a lot of more confidence in myself and wearing higher, like I wore like what's it called, a pea coat? Something like a New Yorkers would wear. Now, mind you, I'm in North Carolina. So this was during the winter time. But I got like really slimmed down, and it was a nice thing. I mean, I still didn't get any girlfriends or anything like that, but I had a lot of energy and my confidence just was way boosted. But people really just treat you different whenever you're overweight. Now, it might be the same thing for if you're underweight, because one of my friends I did hang out with, he was like a skinnier type of dude. And so, you know how opposites tend to attract. And, but he was able to get a girlfriend. And then soon, I don't know if it's routine, but seems like every time your buddy gets with a girl, that's whenever they got to cut you off and spend all their time with them. So it kind of sucks about that. But I mean, at this point, we ain't really friends anymore because we just kind of fell off. And I just wonder if, like, others are going through the same thing because I had stopped the medication after a certain. Well, actually, I didn't even stop it. I just got my rechecked, and they said that my thyroid levels were normal. So after I got out of high school, I was still maintaining up going to the gym and working with my stepdad because that's how I was making most of my money at that point. And I was, I'm just doing like strenuous work. Like I had been pushing like some days probably about 5,000 calories, possibly. Well, maybe not that much, but it has to be more than enough for how many days, like, because it was typically like 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. I've worked 14 days straight one time, and good God, that was miserable. Because I mean, some of the work that we have to do is like some of it's uphill and bringing up brush and bringing mulch and carrying logs and throwing them in the back of the trailer. It can be pretty rough. But then I got to a certain point, I was plateaued, and I got onto like some kind of one of those TV workout regimens. And at that point, I was at 196, and I got down to 191, and I was able to actually do a 6 pull-ups. I've never in my life been able to do a pull-up, but that was the first time that I was able to actually do something like that. And I was kind of stunned. I was like, man, it is possible. But it's just how people treat you. It just kind of sucks. It's like I started gaining weight like a few years later, slowly by slowly. That whenever I went to a county fair, that's pretty much like right down the road from one of our schools, well, from the high school, but the middle school is also pretty close too. And like I went there and I already gained a couple pounds back, like probably like 15, 20 pounds. And some of the people that I went to school with, I've seen like they just completely ignored me. And the ones that I did conversate with, they literally were just poking fun at me, kind of spoiling the mood because I was wanting to come here and have fun. It was also kind of bull was that there was those swing rides. There was a guy that in football, he was the coach's son. Now he was like a bigger guy because I'm assuming that some of these people were on the performance enhancing drugs. And I was behind him during a weigh-in, and he was at 240, but he was mostly muscle. And I got declined. I was at 215. I got declined it, and he got the ride. I was like, man, I actually got pretty much shut down being like a fat ass. Like, what? That's bullcrap. Where's my justice? So that just kind of goes to show of how people treat you. Like, it sucks, but the best thing you can do is just try to work on yourself every day, little by little. Well, I hope y'all guys enjoyed, and maybe some of y'all can relate. And hope to see you next time.